Hi. When the movie Drive came out last year, I was pretty intrigued by it. It seemed like the kind of movie that I would enjoy, and I tried really hard to avoid spoilers or anything else about it. And I ended up trying so hard that I forgot to actually go see the movie. So I was pretty excited when it came out on on Netflix Instant, and now I'm just kind of happy I didn't pay to go see it. I know a lot of you out there loved this movie, and you're going to be shocked that I didn't really like it. But at the same time, I noticed on Rotten Tomatoes, it gets a 92 from the critics and a 78 from the viewers, which tells me there are a lot of people out there who went to the movie expecting to like it and didn't. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people. I'm actually really disappointed in the movie because the first 5 minutes of it I thought were amazing. I thought, if the whole movie is like this, this is going to be like the best movie ever made. It's going to live up to the hype. Because that opening sequence is probably the best chase scene I have ever seen in a movie. And most of it, the guy isn't even driving. Like, that's real skill, to be able to make a really good, really intriguing chase scene without driving for most of your chase scene. Most of the time he's parked. You don't even see the car most of the time. What you see is the driver's eyes. I mean, a car chase without an actual car, really, in it, is just pretty innovative, and you've got to be really good when you do that. Ryan Gosling portrays more feeling in that opening sequence just with his eyes than Keanu Reeves portrayed in an entire movie about time-traveling love letters. So it had me hooked in that opening sequence. And then it completely lost me. First of all, one of the very important parts of this movie is Ryan Gosling's character's interaction with his neighbor. And I hated the conversations that they had together for one very important reason. Those freaking pauses! Oh my god! If you cut the ridiculously long pauses in these conversations completely out of this movie, you would barely feel a commercial break. There are pauses in this conversation long enough to play the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. If I were having a conversation with Ryan Gosling in this movie, I would have time to ask him a question, get bored waiting for the answer, walk home, make myself a sandwich before he called me on the phone and gave me his one-word answer. And that's accounting for the fact that he lives in LA and I live in Boston. I get that they want the character to be kind of stoic and not very wordy and all that, and that's fine. But there's a certain point where just say something. If I had a conversation like that with you, I don't care if you do look like Ryan Gosling, I'm probably not going to fall for you, I'm going to want you to leave my house. And then outside of that is the rest of the movie. I mean, I don't think this movie knows really what it wants to be. It's kind of like it's trying to be a Tarantino flick, but like starring Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name. A bit of gratuitous violence, a bit of action, but then you have a guy living outside of the law but trying to do good in his own way. But it really just falls flat. I mean, Ron Perlman's character seems more like he walked in off the set of the Boondock Saints. And in a movie that's already shown me how much emotion Ryan Gosling can portray without saying a word, when he's got a scene where he's being really furious and like just letting the emotion take over, I want to see that. I want to see him in like his full fury. And instead what I end up seeing is gratuitous boob shots and splattered brains. It's like the director didn't trust his actors to be good enough. Albert Brooks gives what's probably the best performance in this movie, and you wouldn't even know it because the camera isn't looking at him while he does it. It's looking at some gushing blood. I said before that it looks like it's trying to be a Tarantino flick, and I know a lot of Tarantino movies have some pretty gratuitous violence in them, but there's an important difference between Drive and every Tarantino movie ever made. When Tarantino puts a really gruesome scene in a movie, he doesn't focus on the gore. When Mr. Blonde's cutting an ear off, or O-Ren Ishii's cutting somebody's head off, or Aldo Rain's carving a swastika into somebody's forehead, you don't really focus on the cutting. You focus on the guy doing the cutting. The little smirk that Aldo Rain gets, the dance that Mr. Blonde is doing, those sort of things. Tarantino portrays psychotic, sadistic badasses, whereas Drive portrays death and just disturbing imagery. And it's sad because this is a movie populated with actors that could actually portray the kind of emotion that these sort of scenes need. Overall, it's just a really disappointing movie. I think if the entire movie were as good as that opening scene, which I admit would have been hard, but if they pulled off the ambition of that opening scene throughout the entire movie, it would be a 10. It would be a perfect movie. But instead, everything in it falls flat. Every piece of it that has some potential ends up just missing the mark entirely. So honestly, I gotta give this movie a 5 out of 10. I'm not a fan of it, and I probably won't watch it again. I wish I liked it more, but unfortunately I don't. So, let me know what you think, and I will see you again soon. Bye.